can look back here. This is behind the instrument panel. So here's the instruments. This is what's behind the instrument panel. This, when you turn the key to start, this comes out and turns the wheel. Yep, turns the propeller. So this is the starter, and then this is the alternator here, which generates electricity. So there's a belt that goes around there's a belt system that goes around here. We can see it better on the Warrior.
This one is a magneto.
Magneto, correct, right magneto.
And how many magneto we have?
Two.
Two. So one is here and the other opposite side
Exactly.
we have another.
Yep.
And how about this one?
The oil filter.
So you see that when the air comes in here, it has to stay right in here because of this baffling. So it keeps the engines cool. You can see the spark plugs here and here. And then they go to the magneto. So this is the left magneto. So this provides power to these two, and then the bottom, and then two on the other side. This is the oil cooler right here. This cools the oil. So you can see here that the air flows in here and goes around these engines and then goes, if you look right here, let me get back here out of your way. Right here, you can see it goes into the oil cooler.
This goes through a tube in the firewall right here and goes down to the brake master cylinders. That's the fuel pump.
And
Electric boost pump. When you turn the pump on before you start the engine, that's what you hear.
The fuel selector is inside the aircraft.
yes.
All right, and you switch it to left, right, or off. You have a fuel tank strainer that's right above this tire,
Yeah.
and you have another one on that tire.
Yeah.
Both lines feed through the wing over
Yeah.
to a mechanical piece inside the aircraft.
Yes.
All right, and it's just a little T angle, so
And-
it just allows fuel to flow that way. Then you are allowed to control your fuel selector, which is on this side,
Yes.
and you turn it left or right,
Yeah.
and it will basically close off one of the valves, allowing fuel to flow that in one direction. That fuel will come
Strainer.
down, and if I'm remembering correctly, because I haven't studied fuel flow for a while, because I haven't needed to, because
So-
fuel strainer down here that's connected, and if you go up into the actual compartment, you'll see that it's connected to this piece. This partial wire just feeds around way over there. That's where you're getting some fuel, not a lot, just enough so you can run this. Yo! Oh, he's on the phone.
That one is cabin heat.
Cabin heat.
This is going into your cabin. So if we follow the ducting, all right?
Yes.
So it's connected to here, which looks like it connects right up to this little vent port. All right?
Yes.
So now you see where it comes out of. So where does it come from? So you follow the tube down, you go all the way down, and if you notice, there's also this longer one that reaches way over there. They connect to the same thing that tees off. This comes down, this is just a spacer to prevent these from touching each other. All right, because with the aircraft vibration, if it rubs, you lose the risk of wearing out the material. When the material runs out, you could risk the run of leaking fluids. You don't want that. So that's all that spacer is for. This keeps coming down, and you keep following it all the way down here, and you notice it comes to this little box. What that box is for is cabin heat.
Cabin heat.
So it's pulling hot air that's coming around from the engine. If you follow some more decks, you'll figure it out.
This is oil pressure.
Oil pressure.
That's an oil pressure switch.
Yes.
This one here goes to the gauge. This one here goes to like the Hobbs meter, the hour meter. It gets filtered before it goes to the engine. The oil pickup tube is down inside,
Yeah.
and it takes the oil and puts it through the filter before it goes through the engine.
This tube.
That's the intake air for the engine. That's the engine breathes air through there. That's the air filter for the engine.
So
So from
this is down here. So this is your normal air from
Yes.
outside that flows in through an air filter that's in this box here,
Yes.
down through this, into this tube, into the carb.
Yeah.
And it's usually where you have it, unless you get some carburetor icing, in which case you throw on the lever and it opens up the valve from the other side to allow air up into the engine.
Fuel pressure.
Fuel pressure. So it linked to the
No, that one's manifold pressure. I'm sorry, manifold pressure. This is a valve cover.
valve cover.